Peace, power, prayer, prosperity, patience. Um, from I, thinking from here on out, I want to try to do my best, man, to connect uh, with the international community when it comes to the arbitrarily as an uh, I mean, and as a mediator. What does that mean by that? I'm talking about as the language in which one speak is the language of humanity and for humanity. Um, it is a language of cooperation, you know, international cooperation. And I realized that due to the fact that, not to mention, but Jeremy Bittenham, and he wrote something, Principles of Morals and Legislation, I believe in the 1780s or to some degree. But international is in between social intervention, you know, um, only because I realized that the outside of the national community, um, who is being controlled, their ears, their eyes, their thinking, in their behavior, in the manner in which we interact is being controlled by the a few people, um, who controls the masses of people, even though they do it internationally. But at least, um, if you take things to a put it in an international perspective, um, you will, or I would say, I have received a more receptible um, uh, um, audience, I should say, and it's hard to um, see. It's like if you're too close to the light, you can be blinded by it, you know. But in this language, because language is an aspect of your behavior, because I realize that society is under a social reconstruction, where our feelings are becoming desensitized, our thought demoralized, our attitude dehumanized, and our activity has become destabilized. You know, we're dealing with a spirit of apathy. And I know the country in which I reside, we have been so trained um, to revere and admire those who have been successful and or accepted in mainstream society, such as celebrities and entertainers and athletes. But in this international language and international connection, of international cooperation, um, and group solidarity, we're talking about going beyond. I'm talking about going beyond race, class, gender, religion, politics, economics, and education. And this is what I mean, connection with the international language. Then we go beyond race, because it's a fallacy, not based on anything. Class, gender, generic language. That means that male and the male doesn't dominate the female, and the female doesn't dominate the male. Uh, that we are one and the same. There is a balance there. Of course, I did class. Then I said gender, right? Then I did religion. Beyond religion, whatever your political, I mean, whatever your religion is that you profess to uphold and believe in. We go beyond that. This international uh, uh, language, this international language of humanity, irrespectively of your politics, which is the lowest accommodation of science, irrespective of your political affiliation, and economics, beyond one's economic attainment, and education, beyond one's education. Because we got to take a serious look at culture when it becomes destructive and divisive, and it creates an environment of hate, a hate psychosis environment. Um, Within this uh, international language of humanity, we come in the spirit of cooperation, and the leadership is coordination, and and you deal with the source of authority is resiliency, resiliency. But there's 12 things, and dealing with is also this international language of humanity is want to establish a safe and trusting environment. Two, want to overcome negative perception and unhealthy perspectives. Three, creating non-judgmental rapport and reporting as well. Four, actively understanding, each other in the best of ways. You know. Five, looking for positive reinforce forces as building blocks. Six, look to share and appreciate our common experiences and our common interests. Seven, to talk about each other when it comes to um, whatever that we have been delivered from, and our decision making process and how we came to that point to where we are today. Eight, we want to talk about our goals, our dreams, our aspirations, our views, our values, our virtues, our vices, our limitations and accomplishments. And seven, we want to look and listen and be aware to the manner and the way in who we take our cues from. Seven, we must be honest about our challenges. Yes. And 11, we want to provide concrete solutions. Yes. But we must be honest that we cannot add concrete solutions to abstract problems. And 12, we get to know each other at another level. As a result, in understanding this international language of humanity, uh, participants become a more understanding person. Participants become a more tolerant person. This participants become have more temperance, more self-control, and less temperamental person. And participants become more confident person. Participants become a more respectful person. It's just the basis, man, of this international uh, language of humanity, and onto a global citizen, no, global solidarity, as you say, global solidarity. But primarily, this international language of humanity is deals with the energy, energy, the synergy of energy. Um, this international language of humanity is designed to, when we come together to enhance a greater effect on the totality of our mental, emotional, physical, spiritual well-being. Yes. So come together to not only to, as, as Nina Fuller would say, give him credit to be give each other constructive value, but we want to be useful. Meaning live a meaningful life, a meaningful life, yeah, a life full of vigor, vitality, moral obligation, and accountability. And yes, yeah, I see that many people who are blinded by the light that's so close to them that we can, in the society in which I reside, that we can revere and respect those who are distant from us, but don't admire and respect those because we seem to who are who are close to us, revere and admire those who are distant, but not revere and admire those who are close to us, closest to us, and through some experience, a mother and a father may have helped give you birth, but due to the how the influence of the larger society, how that has affected the relationship and the respect. So therefore, we go and find and get respect others um, outside of our immediate family. You know. So you would say, well, why are you doing the same thing with this international language? Because um, we have now come to understand the importance of 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 the this global, this international community. You know, maybe certain faiths have that you become a part of their international community. But we know that it starts local. We know that. We know that it starts local. I mean, the those who understand the importance of language, you know, then it spreads, you know, and and this is actually where I am personally, um, whereas that in the culture in which I reside is designed to undervalue or devalue and and underappreciate you, the lack of appreciation, and so you surround yourself with those who go beyond that, who go beyond race, who go beyond class, who go beyond gender, who go beyond religion, who go beyond politics, who goes beyond economics, and goes beyond education, yes, and reach out to uh, and connect with the in between the international community. Because if you look at the word media itself, media is a word medium, which means I'm in the middle. I'm the medium. I am the divide. I'm the one that determines the left and the right. Yes, media. Yes. hmm So um, there is a manner and a way in which we can communicate the language of of humanity and And the way in which one can do that is he or she must resume control over the communication system, and the language and the language in which you use, in which we communicate one with another. It must be clear. We know that one time that the Native Americans, they communicate with signs, and in that signs, you can't lie because it's a sign language. But we use words and the meaning behind the meaning. So therefore, ones um, have hidden intentions and underhanding and undermining motives behind it. So if anything that is is under questioning is one's intentions. Yes, and for the most part, one's intentions are to deceive. To deceive. So in that deception, the lore of it, there is a sense of deprivation, a sense of being deprived of of the accessibility when it comes to the social continuity or the continuing flow and the connection with the uh, international community when it comes for when it comes to the language of humanity, one's human rights, you know. And I'm not trying to get political, we go beyond politics, but for the greater good of the best humanity, as I say, one's common humanity, one's common humanity, that which will ensure cooperation and trust. Yes. And the motto is to communicate with precision and clearer image to the world. Because once you destroy the image of a people, they will communicate that destruction. And you communicate an image to the world through understanding, tolerance, temperament/temperament, confidence and respect. Temperance and temperament is the bridge, that connects with the international community to temperance. Then the temperance is self-control because circumstances makes us other than ourselves. Yeah, circumstances makes us other than ourselves. So if that be the case, yes, the temperament and the temperament and the temperament is the attitude. It's the attitude because remember if and temperament connects with the confidence, and then the other one aspect with respect. Because if I say society is under a social reconstruction, this is still connecting with the international community when it comes to the language, international language of humanity. That society is under a social reconstruction. Feelings are becoming desensitized, thoughts demoralized, attitude dehumanized, communication devitalizes. Means what we're saying to one another, we're really not listening, and behavior becomes destabilized, which means people respond to a spirit of apathy. People naturally resist uh, the spirit of apathy. So I say that in this society, through all these disturbances and chaos, corruption, and confusion, there are a few people that are locally that don't seek publicity, that they just lovers of humanity, and they are not reactionary. They're not driven uh, by Main Street society and become and sow a seed of dissension and create a hate psychosis. But there are those that are across the globe internationally who share your same who share the sentiments when it comes to the language of humanity, you know, the common humanity, the language of common humanity, our common humanity that will ensure cooperation and trust that comes in the spirit of cooperation. Understand leadership is coordination and understanding that the authority which one speaks from is resiliency because we were resilient in getting here to this plane of existence. We come from a resilient womb, and that is the womb of birth from our mother. So that we can overcome uh, mental dejection and physical rejection, you know, and create a self care network group, you know, that we care for one another. We can seek asylum or we can seek refuge, you know, together one with another. Because in a society, in a local society, whereas that for the most part, that is difficult to seek refuge. It can be difficult to seek refuge in each other when it's when there is a political divide, a racial divide, a class divide, a religious divide, did I say a political divide, a economic divide, a class divide, and a educational divide. You know, and this hate psychosis. But there are a few who go beyond that when they come to that understanding, and few have not come to that understanding to go beyond race, to go beyond class, to go beyond race, to go beyond race, class, gender, religion, politics, economics, and education. Yes, and then you live in any culture, in any society where it's want to get into illicit use of anything, you know, that is continue to create this um, to desensitize us, our feelings, you know, and to demoralize our thinking, our thoughts, and to dehumanize our attitude, you know, and to devitalize our communication, and to destabilize our activity when it comes to communicating the international language of humanity for the greater good, the best of humanity. There are those who communicated this language when it comes to salvaging the soul of human salvation. What I think is because human salvation is the salvaging of the soul, the the, the, the freedom, the mobility, the agility, you know, the capability, the flexibility, the reliability, you know, the dependability. What's more important is the credibility, because if society is on a social reconstruction where our feelings are becoming desensitized, are desensitized, that means that we have to get to a point that we need to restore social credibility. So when you talk with the language, the international language of humanity is also the end result is to restore social credibility, to be credible, impeccable, integrity with your word. And then it's designed to uh, readdress social diversity, moving from a persecuted minority to a privileged majority as it pertains to one's aspirations. Because when inspiration goes down, one's aspiration goes up, you see. Then you have to deal with the revising of social coherency, the end result, you know, when it comes to one's temperament slash temperament, the attitude, to revise it, become coherent, cognitive, cognitive. And that means that we overcome not becoming suffering from cognitive dissonance. You know, something could be right there in your face, and you just say it ain't so because you've been programmed and conditioned to do so. So it's a debriefing process too, as well as a detoxifying. So then there is the confidence, is to replenish the continuity of our confidence in cooperating with one another. The end result is to replenish social continuity when it comes to understanding tolerance, temperament slash temperament, confidence. It's to replenish. You know, as one said that we always that a certain area in which we live is being depleted and not replenished. And someone also says that wherever the carcass is, the eagles will gather. As you're mentally someone was if you're mentally dead, someone was always feeding off of you, fueling you and feeding off of you, extracting the fueling could be fueling you um, and feeding off of you, you know, and the hostility and the tension that we cannot, we don't connect with one another and understanding the language of humanity, you know, salvaging of the soul of humanity. And then finally is to replenish the social solidarity. That's respect. 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 And that's physics. Physics. We got respect when it comes. People will proceed coming at you with caution. So it's international cooperation unto global solidarity. Global solidarity. Still talking about the international language of humanity, connecting with the international language of humanity. So that's why I say I consider, come in as a social intervention. Social intervention, yes, social intervention. People say a messenger. What I say is we now at a point where there is an expressioneer, one who transforms ideas into words and words into meaning and meaning into an activity. You know, because everything needs self-expression. This creation is a perfect expression. And I'm trying to get out of all the disturbances and the chaos when it comes to people mean well and they want to do well, but people has a means to want intellectual satisfaction. They want to intellectual satisfaction. You know. In doing so, it leads to intellectual prostitution. Yeah, intellectual prostitution. Yes. In need of attention, you sow a seed of dissension. Yes, very challenging um, when it's those that are close and they need help. Those that are close in my people really need help. I need help. You know, it's a beautiful thing to see uh, the results of your efforts realized. It's a beautiful thing. In support of your effort, the efforts must be synthesized. Synthesize your efforts. Once again, people want to righteous living unto living a meaningful life, a meaningful life. a meaningful life. I mean, you look at it, maybe I know the country where I reside was, marriages, people, what is coming together, what is marriage, the sacredness of the family, I mean, it seemed to be not sacred anymore. We're unable to 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 mate in a sense of sacredness in creating or communicating the language of humanity. So it is very challenging. I remember in this wise I was talking to a gentleman, and he was sharing with me about his wife, and I thought that I asked him about his wife, and he said, well, he married her humanity, and that's what's most important. He was married to her humanity. May we continue to be married to our humanity in the best of ways, and not be married to our inhumanity in our relationship one with another on a consistent basis. Until next time, Common Humanity Mission, promoters of the value of self-worth, and the mandate is to cultivate the potential of knowledge that is in us all. And may we continue to support our endeavors in the best of ways and for the greater good of all humanity, that we continue to share and be responsible one for another. And as we continue to share and be responsible one for another, we will continue to do our best to be our best and to serve humanity for the greater good that all can see and all can be a part of as a model that will bring out the best that is in us all. So may we continue to strive, may we continue to thrive, and may we continue to live a life that brings out all that is good. Until the next time, talk to you.